of declining teen smoking rates and sparking a public health emergency. At the time the District of Columbia filed our lawsuit, the principal of our largest high school estimated that more than half of the school's juniors and seniors were using e-cigarettes, mostly Juul. Juul knew all along how dangerous and addictive its products were. It knew its online verification systems were riddled with flaws and loopholes that allowed kids of any age to purchase the products. It knew, but did not care. It chose to prioritize profits over kids' health and safety. Worse, Juul not only didn't care, it actively tried to hide its truth from consumers. It lied about its efforts to combat youth smoking and to stop minors from buying its products. Today, Juul is finally being held accountable for its actions. As a result of our joint efforts, hundreds of millions of dollars will now go directly towards mitigating the public health damage caused by Juul's practices, $15.2 million to the residents of the District of Columbia. I'm grateful for the hard work of the lawyers and professionals in the Office of Attorney General in collaboration with our colleagues in state AG offices across the country. And now I want to turn it over to my friend, the Attorney General from Massachusetts, Andrea Campbell.
Thank you, AG Schwab, and thank you, of course, to AG James for your leadership in convening us. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us today to cover this important announcement. I'm honored to be here with my esteemed counterparts who, along with their staff, are each doing incredible work in their respective states, and today's announcement is no exception. I want to start by recognizing the staff in my office and those who have left who worked on this case, the exceptional lawyers and public servants who have put years in hard work to ensure we're doing everything in our power to hold Juul accountable. I can't possibly mention the whole team, but I did want to name a few. Jim Sweeney, Alda Chan, Matt Lashoff Sullivan, Sean Atwood, Noah Kopp, Adrian Butterton, Sky Karp, Bowen He, Matt Jalen, Aaron Davis, Liz Cho, Sam Schusterman, a former AGO employee, and a former AGO employee, Elise Yannette. They all worked really hard for this victory, and I'm really proud of the team. In 2018, the Massachusetts Attorney General's office was the first office in the country to announce an investigation into Juul. And we were seeing a vaping epidemic, of course, among our kids. And Juul was the top product, the industry leader. In fact, the word Juuling had become a verb, and that was no accident. Juul's marketing campaign was not only appealing to kids, but was targeting them, getting them started on e-cigarettes, and then getting them addicted. My office, of course, swiftly took action to stop this predatory behavior. Our investigation unveiled new pieces of Juul's marketing plan, including how they intentionally chose models and images that appealed to young people, advertised products on websites geared towards kids, and even shipped e-cigarettes to underage youth who ordered.
Nobody would sign on with him, so he couldn't enter. I read that. He couldn't do it. Then I read one yesterday, I want to say it's called PBR1, something.
A nationwide public health crisis for young people all across this country. Vaping is dangerous. It's even toxic. It harms your lungs, your heart, your brain, and your development. Juul knew all of this and still intentionally sold their products to young people. They targeted those young people and they hooked them on Juul products to ensure the continued and long-term use of vapes by one of our youngest, most vulnerable populations. Today marks the next chapter to hold this company accountable for their wrongdoing. This settlement will deliver $41 million to Massachusetts, with a portion of that money funding vaping addiction services, including outreach, education, and treatment. It also includes restrictions on youth marketing and sales and prohibitions on sponsorships and free giveaways, unannounced compliance checks, and a robust document depository so that the world can see the documents we uncovered through that investigation. But of course, we won't stop here. My office, along with several colleagues who are on this Zoom, and of course those who are not, are in conversations with advocates, experts, community organizations to understand how this money can best be used to help prevent and address the addiction crisis this company caused. And here in Massachusetts, we've strengthened our laws with regard to e-cigarettes and will continue to enforce those laws to ensure that no company can again use Juul's playbook to entice our young people to use these addictive and harmful products. One of the top priorities of my office will continue to be protecting the health and the safety of our young people. Juul is the most significant player in the vaping industry, and this investigation has helped us go after other bad actors to stop this epidemic once and for all. We all need to and will work together to shield the next generation from those who attempt to target and harm them across every industry, including mobile sports gaming, social media apps, algorithms, and so much more. When there are unlawful practices, our offices will step up. It is our hope that with the attorneys generals from across the country standing together, we'll protect our young people and empower them to live healthy and prosperous lives. I am grateful to all of my colleagues on this Zoom, their leadership and their work to protect our young people and all of our residents. Thank you.
Thank you, AG Campbell. I also want to recognize and thank the team that negotiated this settlement, the Senior Advisor and Special Counsel, Umair Khan, Assistant Attorney General Haley DeCracker and Noah Pope, and Healthcare Deputy Bureau Chief Leslie Ann Cachola. At this point in time, we will take some questions. Please identify your outlet and please direct your question to the relevant party.
Thank you, Attorney General. Just a reminder, please use the raise hand function to express that you would like to ask a question. We'll give a moment for that to fill up. Thank you. Our first question will come from Beatrice Peterson. Beatrice, you can unmute and talk, please.
Hey, can you hear me? Hi, my name is Beatrice Peterson with ABC News. My question to you guys is, how do you all see the funds being used in your individual states? Do you have any specific programs you guys plan on using for the funds, specifically to help these children who were affected by Juul's targeted ads?
The funding will be used in the state of New York to help government agencies and educational organizations to prevent young vaping, to support community and school-based anti-vaping programs, to help individuals quit vaping, to help localities and counties enforce vaping laws and regulations, and monitor and research efforts to reduce vaping, working very closely with our Department of Health. I don't know if my colleagues also want to answer that question.
Yeah, Rob Bonta, California Attorney General. I can just add that the funds will be used in California for programs to educate youth about the harms of vaping and to help them quit its use, enforcement work, to implement California's ban on retail sale of flavored nicotine products, and also to conduct research into health effects of the use of e-cigarettes by youth. Those are some of the buckets that we'll be deploying the funds for.
We will have similar uses in the state of Illinois, both with regards to awareness, treatment, and working along with our public health officials, our school districts, and our community partners.
Similarly, here in the District of Columbia, the settlement monies will go to programs to provide cessation assistance to district residents who were exposed to vaping, education and prevention programs, research programs, programs and equipment that are designed to abate the impact of the electronic nicotine delivery systems, or ENDS, and efforts to mitigate the impact on District of Columbia children of being addicted to nicotine.
And in Massachusetts, similar to my other colleagues, the resources will be used for enforcement purposes to address, of course, youth nicotine addiction. But we are also in the process of still meeting with stakeholders to develop a robust, comprehensive plan, because we know the advocates want to be a part of the discussions in terms of how we utilize those resources. And we have some time to figure that out. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next question will come from Joe Gray of BET. You can unmute yourself and ask.
Hi, thank you, everybody, for giving this this press conference. My question is, there had been reports from a couple of years ago that Juul and a lot of these other vape companies had targeted minority communities, Black, Brown, Asian, and Indigenous communities. Did your teams find that they actually continued this, as well as the targeting of youth communities as well?
So we do not have any information that Juul specifically targeted communities of color. We do know that they specifically targeted youth in general, again, with their colorful ads, again, featuring individuals at very fancy parties in New York City and in the Hamptons. It was specifically targeted towards young people, and that included all individuals of all races and ethnicities.
Yeah, I'll second that as well, where we focused on the youth community generally, certainly including all the communities that you mentioned, and the fact that Juul sold to underage consumers and targeted youth through their marketing, used inadequate age verification procedures, sent promotional emails to customers who Juul knew had not been age verified, and in California, lacked required state tobacco licenses, all to provide to spike the youth smoking epidemic once again, including other communities you mentioned, sir.
Thank you. Our next question will come from Michael Sisak of the Associated Press. You can unmute yourself.
Attorney General James, thanks for having this press conference. Congratulations on the settlement, and don't hate me for veering a little off topic. President Trump is going to be in your office tomorrow. I was wondering if you could tell us why he's going to be there, whether you're going to be there to greet him like you were.
Mike, we're doing on-topic questions for this press conference.
Okay, well, I had to give it a shot.
Do you have an on-topic question?
I do have an on-topic question, yes. In terms of this settlement, where does this rank? You know, you've been going after the pharmaceutical industry and other industries. Where does this rank in terms of what your office has been doing to combat these sort of scourges on society, on New York State?
We do not rank our litigation. As you know, all of my colleagues who are represented here today on this call, all of us were part of a multi-state litigation against opioid manufacturers and distributors. And today we stand here to focus, again, to focus on Juul, highlighting its harms to young people and the fact that Juul took a page out of Big Tobacco's playbook. And it is our top priority to protect young people and to protect the general public. And we will do it again with regards to any products that harm our consumers.
Thank you. Our next question will come from Chris Van Buskirk.
Hi, this is actually Steph Solis from Axios. We're watching this together. I had two questions for Massachusetts Attorney General Campbell. One, I was wondering if you or others could speak to how the funding broke down, how Massachusetts got to 41 million. And then secondly, you mentioned other restrictions and prohibitions, and I'm wondering what some of those new mechanisms are, including if the prohibition is for all people or just young people.
I can speak to the first question. I wasn't really clear on your second question. Do you want to repeat the second question? We've been having some internet issues here in Massachusetts too.
Absolutely. When I was talking about prohibitions, I was wondering more so if you could elaborate on the prohibitions for giveaways and sponsorships, if that's for all sporting events or all commercials, or specifically ones targeting young people or involving young athletes or something.
Got it. Thank you. So the first on the 41 million, really actually proud of the work of this team and those who, and also from respective states on how we got to that number for Massachusetts. It actually wasn't based on population for Massachusetts. It was based on just a percentage of young people that live here, the percentage of young people that are identified as being addicted to these products. So we got close to 10%, which is a little bit more than if you were just looking at population. So proud of the team, of course, my predecessor as well, and of all the other states who are working in partnership on this, and taking into account the population of young people here in Massachusetts. In terms of the free giveaways, the injunctive relief we're talking about in the context of this case has to do with tobacco, vaping, e-cigarettes, et cetera. But what we have learned from this case is useful to other industries that target young people. And so that's really important. I obviously named mobile sports betting, which we're in the midst of getting that off the ground here in Massachusetts, other types of industries where young people are being targeted, social media apps or applications, I should say, are being designed to target young people when they're not supposed to be on these platforms, when they're not supposed to be buying certain products. So we've learned a lot from here. That can be used from this case, I should say, that will be useful to protect our young people in other industries. And that's really, really significant going forward in terms of some of our consumer protection priorities.
Thank you. Our final question will come from Eric Flack.
Hi, my name is Eric Flack. I'm from WUSA 9 in Washington, D.C., and this question is aimed at Attorney General Brian Schwab, although I welcome anybody's comments. Attorney General Schwab, I spoke with a Juul spokesperson this morning, and they characterized this as kind of a company reset, trying to correct the rights of the wrongs of the past. And as you know, it's the latest in a number of settlements they've reached. My question is, are you satisfied that these sorts of practices will not continue into the future? And I also wonder if there's a concern that the damage has already been done as far as addiction and the impact on public health.
Well, Eric, thank you for the question. Of course, I'm concerned about whether or not other corporate actors are going to replay the playbook we've now seen run multiple times in terms of misleading young people and taking advantage of young people, putting profits over their health and well-being. I am satisfied that this settlement with Juul is a fair one. It was the result of several states collaborating together and being willing to file a lawsuit when the investigation of the facts warranted filing a lawsuit. But my hope is also that it sends a message to everybody that using deceptive practices, putting profits over people, putting people's health at risk, all in exchange for making a buck, is unacceptable. It's illegal, it's immoral, and the AG for the District of Columbia, and I'm sure my colleagues on this phone call, are going to continue to lean into our obligation to protect consumers, particularly young people. And my hope is that the message is being received. But look, if past is prologue, we know that commercial actors will always be tempted to pursue profits, even if it does a lot of damage along the way. And when they do, we will hold them accountable.
I thank you all for this call. I thank all of the media who responded. Again, we will continue to work together. The attorney generals of the United States are the first line of defense, and particularly as it relates to young people. We will continue to bring cases against Big Pharma to the extent that they engage in any harmful and or deceptive marketing practices. I want to thank my team, want to thank my colleagues, and want to thank you all this afternoon for this call. Have a good day.